What's going on, everybody? So gonna get straight into this. Hope y'all doing all right tonight. So right now on Reddit, on the detailing forum, and gonna be answering some questions. The first one's gonna be coming from Figure 8 Detailing. Now these are questions that are going to be reviewed as far as that have to do with business, and a lot of people have a lot of questions to ask, and sometimes they, I'm just making this a little bit bigger that way I can see it, and sometimes people ask questions and they send messages and whatnot, but I think that this would actually be best way to answer those questions. So Figure 8 Detailing, 11 hours ago. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and click on this. Real question here: how do you guys go about dealing with customers who won't pay? We recently encountered our first customer that won't deal with their bill, not answer the phone. Let's hear you guys out. How do you deal with these? No, I'm not looking for ways to go after my money with this post. We're honestly curious, how do you guys deal with this? Someone said small claims, waste of time. This person says if you have the VIN of the car, file a lien on it, move on, and ban them. This right here is unless it's one of my commercial accounts that mails checks. Don't leave the job without getting paid. Hearing the customer satisfied with the service, hopefully blah blah blah. Hopefully they end up paying for your time. Well, I'm gonna give you a piece of advice. If you own a business, and if you own any service-based business, especially with our business, we have a whole section on our website and on the facts page, for instance, right? We do not conduct any work. We don't touch anything without a contract. Without a service agreement put into place, where you should have, if you're this business, Figure 8 Detailing, listen up. If you have this business, I suggest that you consult with an attorney. Then if you have a legitimate business, a service-based business, get in line and get a collection agency. They're out there. Get a collection agency to handle both commercial and personal debts. Some of them have minimums as far as how much you have to have, like a threshold, $500,000, $600,000, what have you, and go with them and establish a relationship. Before and after pictures is a must. Before and after, during videos, if you can. Take pictures and video of every single project, before, during, and after. Service agreement signed, expectations drawn out in that service agreement, payment terms, payment schedules, repercussions if they don't pay, the whole 9 yards, up to liens, collections, and so on and so forth. So that's how I would answer that question. How do you guys go about dealing with customers that won't pay? Recently encountered our first customer that won't deal with their bill, not answer the phone. Well, if it was us, with our business, for instance, we would collect. We would try to resolve it, but this is a sticky situation, and the best way to solve this is consulting with an attorney. It's worth the time. Consulting with an attorney, having service agreements drawn up that adheres to all the laws and all the ins and outs of your state, your country, wherever you're at. Deal here in the United States, so it's pretty universal stuff. So cost maybe about around, to have an attorney draw it up. You may be able to find some that'll do it for $300, $500 on up to $1,200. You may have to retain an attorney. That's something else altogether. So anyway. All right, so that's that one. So let's move on over to the next question. How much would you charge for this? Not going to get into that. All right. Next one. This is another question, okay? This is a question that is asked a lot on these forums, and I'll back up to this one up here, and as you can see, what would you charge for this? Now, on these forums, no one has an answer No one will actually give a definitive answer as far as what we're going to be getting into on this channel. Carpet here, people trying to push products. Nothing, I don't touch minivans for less than 400, blah, 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 blah. This is the wrong. Some people are saying, what's your hourly rate? Needs to be 6 hours of work. 700, double the blue book. 350, keep it moving. Look, all those questions are subjective, and what your pricing needs to be on anything is really subjective. So let me come back down here. Here's a good one. That War Thunder _guy. Cool name. All right, so I'm a brand new detailer, 18 years old male. Doesn't matter. You could be, anything starting detailing. It doesn't matter. It's a business. And wanted to get a feel for what I should offer in my packages and how I should price them. For example, per job, per hour, basic, premium, luxury, interior, exterior. Will greatly appreciate this. Thanks. Let's see what people say. All right, once you do your initial market research, what's that? This person's not explaining that. Fitter over 40 doesn't know what that, you're not explaining. You'll know what you're up against. Then you can decide where you want to be in pricing and packages. Don't forget to use AI to get you through this. AI, the internet, will never is great tools, but it will never substitute being on the ground and having your feet on the ground and actually doing research on your own. Pick up the phone. Call the people. Call around. Find out. You could do that. That's market research. Use all. This says we can't really give you help with this entirely dependent on the area and what you plan to do. Cheap. And a lot of cars are expensive and very little cars. What are people charging in the area? Excuse me. My prices here in Florida are pretty competitive with those around me. I have a lot of do the whole bronze, silver, gold, etc. They have like 8 different detailing options. I hate that blank. It's way too confusing. All right. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So, look. You have to figure out what your market is as far as, and let's get specific here. Let's dig in. And it's just going to be a quick video. We're going to have a lot more lives here, but let's just dig in. I'm going to answer your question, that War Thunder guy. The first thing that you're going to want to do is figure out where you're at. What is the demographics where you live? What is your goal with the business? If you're planning on making an actual living out of this, then you need to be looking at where you're living and see if it's realistic. You could simply just look around. If you see a lot of car washes on each corner, for instance, here in the southeast, you can travel over to Destin, where the business is based out of. There's car washes on every single corner. Every corner almost. That means that there is a market for it. Another indicator, if you go to another market like Mobile, Alabama, there's hardly any. People just don't take pride in what they have. It's not in the culture. It's a cultural thing. But yet, if you go just a few miles, about 20 minutes to the, I guess you want to say, to the west, now you're going to get into an area where they actually do care. You get over to New Orleans. You get into places like that. People like their cars clean. People like them being shiny, not just clean, but shine, detailed. If you go north of Mobile, you go to Birmingham, you go to Huntsville, you go places like that, yeah, they're going to want it. Pensacola, not really a big market for it. Not a big car scene. There's some factors that you need to look at. Find out if it's your actual market. Then if you do see that kind of stuff, figure out what the income is. Do you have a lot of millionaires around? Do you have just middle class? What is middle class? Household income. Average person in America right now, average man makes $45,000 a year. Average woman makes around 35, 40. That's on the high end. Household income average right now is about $75,000 household. That means between 2 people. That's average across America. So are you in an average area, or are you in a upper middle class area where people are making $100,000 a year easy? Are you in a huge tourist area? Are you in an investment area? Or are you in a real estate hub? You have to determine that. Then that is going to guide you down the path of figuring out what your prices are going to be, what your services are going to be, and what path you need to take. It's not going to happen overnight. So to ask, how should I price my detailing? So to ask, let me show you this. So to ask, how should I price my detailing packages? That's really a complicated question. So the reason why no one could actually answer it is because you don't know if you're just starting and if you're brand new, you don't know the ropes. It depends on how much you know. You have to build a portfolio. You have to build a network. You have to build market value. You have to actually show and prove. It's not what you know. You could know everything, but if you can't prove it and you don't have anything to fall back on, you're not going to get very far. That's the difference between having a strong brand and building a brand and just being fly by night. It could, it's very, very complicated. So first things first, figure out where you're at, figure out what you know, and figure out what you could prove that you could do. And when you do that, you need to keep track of your cost and then figure out how much money you're actually making. Are you washing money? Are you making $50? Did you start off with $50 and just walked away with $100 for the day? Well, you didn't make $100 that day. You made $50 that day. So you really need to just sit down and think about it and get going on it. As time progresses, then you'll figure out what your variable cost is, what your fixed cost is. You'll figure out what your marketing cost is, your branding, uniforms, etc. Go down that rabbit hole. What are your legal fees? What are your what is everything going to cost, basically? Your wear and tear on your vehicle, as far as what you're using to get to and from wherever you're going to work on these jobs, with it being a mobile business. Everything comes into factor, and that's going to dictate what your prices are, and they'll constantly be adjusted because businesses every single year and ever so often, especially with inflation right now, prices are getting adjusted. So just keep that in mind. So anyway, we'll dig further into this kind of stuff. I'm going to wrap up this video right here, wrap up this live. This is just answering some business questions on Reddit. And looking at this here, I'm going to take one more here. Going to look at how to clean windshield. Alright, let's see. Yikes. Okay. People asking, what would you charge for this? People asking. Look, this is a question that is coming up, but it will be tackled in further videos. So I'm going to wrap it up right here because this is just showing more and more that this is a question. And if you look, there's 64 people commenting. Let's just see what kind of comments they have on here real quick. I'm going over your head, give it to the best of your abilities, get some options up front. Start at this, but people because of black and look, prices vary depending on what the customer's done. A wash, full detail enter. Look, we're going to get further into this kind of stuff. Let me back up. Let me answer just one more. Here's another one. All right, let's end it off with this, because as you can see, I'm a new detailer options on chemical choices. One thing I will say right now, there is no product and there is no such thing as a chemical out there that does everything. There is no one size fits all brand. There is no one size fits all chemical brand, product line, what have you. There's no one size fits all anything. So I'm going to leave it at that. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Hopefully you get something out of it. It is more of a business video. We're going to be doing this, try to do this nightly. If we're not doing this nightly, then we'll be live actually while work is being performed. So and day in the life logs, the whole 9 yards, still going to be pumping out. So this is going to be the thing. See you on the next video, everybody.